didn't bring my contempt check with me, so I'm not going to boss the judges around. That wouldn't be smart. But we'll be getting started very shortly. I didn't catch you quickly enough, but would you please rise for the presentation of the colors, ladies and gentlemen?
and gentlemen, will you join me as we offer the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Gregory DeMyers and Anaya DeMyers. And thank you to the color guard. You may be seated. Thank you. My name is Takura Nyamfukudza, and my first order of business is to recognize the dignitaries in here. We're joined by Mayor Andy Shore, Chief of Police Darrell Green, City Attorney Jim Smirtka, Human Resource Director Linda Sanchez Gazea, City Treasurer Judy Keeler. That's someone you want to stay close to, controls the purse strings, right? State Representative, my representative, Sarah Anthony. James McGrath, President of Western Michigan University Cooley Law School. Patricia Spitzley and Brian Jackson of our city council. And this may be the safest room in the city because I saw Scott Wigglesworth, our sheriff, hiding back in the corner. I see you. And Dr. Joan Jackson Johnson from HCRS. And of course, I would be out of order if I did not recognize the judges in here. From the 6th Circuit Court of Oakland County, Judge Kamisha Gant. From 54A District Court right here, Chief Judge Louise Alderson, Judge Stacia Buchanan, Judge Cynthia M. Ward, Judge Kristen Simmons, of course, the reason we're all here, right? Retired Judge Frank DeLuca, retired Judge Charles Felice, as well as Magistrate Laura Milmore. And from 54B, we have Judge Andrea Andrews Larkin. I saw Judge Boyd from the 55th District Court, and certainly, last but not least, from the 30th Circuit Court, Judge Shawna Dunnings, Judge Richard J. Garcia, Judge Janelle Lawless, Judge Clinton Kennedy III. I still have that contempt order hanging on my wall, so I'm going to follow my strict orders to keep us moving along smartly. Judge Joyce Dragonchuk, Judge Wanda M. Stokes, and of course, from the 50th District Circuit Court, Oakland County of Pontiac, Judge Cynthia Walker. Welcome, and thank you all for joining us. Now, I've appeared in front of many of the judges here and many other people in here for different reasons. Sometimes my eyes were dry, others they were not. Sometimes my nose even began to run. So I know many of you got nervous, like, we're trusting that guy? Him? Probably the most verbose person to keep us on time. So I'm here to tell you, I hope you had an early dinner or a heavy lunch. But, no, I'm joking. We're going to keep it moving. We're going to keep it moving. So why roll the dice with me, having me as the MC? I suspect one reason, before she ascended to the bench, I was Judge Simmons' right-hand man when she served as the president of the Davis-Dunnings Bar Association. I think I was a pretty good VP. She didn't fire me. That is an organization we both joined as students when it was still called the Lansing Black Lawyers Association. Before that, I'd seen her around on campus, but it wasn't until we were seatmates in professional responsibility that we actually became friends. So the litigators in the room know about exhibits, right? The importance of exhibits, and the judges too, of course. So I was riding up in the elevator with someone who asked me, what's that little guy doing? What is he doing? So in my time as a soldier, I know that different things can bond people, right? Tragedy and whatnot. But for us, we were sitting in the front row, and before our very eyes, a professor who we called Papa Smurf, he had a gorilla just like this. And I'm not as nimble as he is or was at that point in time. I won't move around as much. Suffice it to say that one of these was his prop, and he did and said some things which shocked us. So I guess it drove the point home because we still remember it to this day, talk about it frequently. So this would be my gift to you, right? Because that's the reminder of when the bond was formed. One thing, though, seriously, that we did learn from that class is that the professional rules of ethics set the floor, not the ceiling. The floor, not the ceiling. And I know that is something she has continued to do in her personal and professional life. Judicial temperament. These are qualities which I know she exhibited from the very first time we met and will carry on with her into her time on the bench. Her judicial temperament. When she was the president of the Davis-Dunnings Bar Association, she was always prepared. She gave people a chance to speak, but she had no trouble making a decision, right? Intelligence. So there are many attorneys out here, right? I know I took a bar prep course. Despite not taking one, she passed it the first time around. Now, that may not mean very much to many of you. But how did she do that? She had to make approximately 2,000 flashcards. Now, during law school, I had no interest whatsoever in making flashcards because it takes so much time. But I guess that's how it stuck. She got it done the first time around. Courage and integrity is something that she exhibited many, many times. I won't go into examples for each of these, otherwise we'll be here till goodness knows when. Experience and education, the depth and breadth. You can Google it, you can find her resume, see all the things that she's done. But in the event that somebody comes before her and needs to have something addressed that she hasn't encountered herself, we know that she's a quick study, right? She will learn it, be steeped in all the details, and be prepared. There's nothing worse than coming before someone who, well, should have been prepared but wasn't. the ability to communicate. That includes the ability to listen, but also actually hear what the people in front of you are saying. That's something on a daily basis, every time I've spoken to her, that she's done. Her character is beyond reproach. Nobody who comes before her will be treated poorly because of their station in life. She's a hard worker. I know that certainly those in Michigan know when we had a shooter on 96, right? And during that time, she was driving back and forth to Novi, but she had a job to get done, and that allowed her to go and see her family. Family means the world to her. So I know that she will keep that in the back of her mind as she's making decisions. Because, like me, she's been on the other side of the V from the government. She's represented people whose liberty is at stake, right? So the litigators and criminal defense attorneys in here appreciate that. But I've got a number that calls a guy, all right? And for me, the decision to attend law school was something I reached by the process of elimination. But this guy shared something with me. This is my other exhibit. And I tried to get it printed large enough to ensure that everybody, even in the back of the room, could see this. Why do we care? Why does that matter? Cute picture, absolutely. But she knew, even at this age, when many people are saying, oh, I want to be an astronaut, I don't know what I said I wanted to be. But certainly, probably, I don't know, 15 years ago, I think I had an idea that I wanted to be in law school. But she knew, even at this age, that she wanted not only to be an attorney, but be a judge, right? So this wasn't something that she arrived at, I suppose I've checked enough blocks so I could do that. Bottom line, she's not new to this, she's true to this. She's living her dream, right? We are fortunate that she stayed around here to serve us in that capacity instead of going to Texas, Atlanta, or somewhere else where it's warm to practice environmental law. So Spencer, thank you. My man. And of course, to the lady sitting next to her and all the folks right here, for all the input that you had in turning her into the jurist that we know she's going to be, thank you all. And those are my remarks. We will keep it moving along. I see some people looking at their watches, and I'm going to call on Pastor Larry M. Trice Jr. from the Tabernacle of David here in Lansing, Michigan, for the invocation.
Could we please stand just one more time, at least? If you can bow your heads, we're going to pray. Heavenly Father, on this glorious celebration of godly promotion, we invoke your presence in our midst. Thank you for choosing Kristen. This is your doing, and it is marvelous in your eyes. Today, in your presence, not only stands many family and friends, but also Grandpa Willie Green Parker and Grandma Leela Parker and Kristen's father, Ben Lees Parker. They are also a part of this auspicious investiture. No, we will not see them here, but they are part of a great cloud of witnesses. Witnesses of faith who have gone on physically, but they are present at this great occasion. So today we all see, Father, what you saw before the foundation of the world, what Mother Maggie Gary saw in Kristen as a child, what you told Kristen even as a child, and what we share here today. It is an elevation of her strength, of your grace and your mercy and your righteousness that is in her. I am moved today, God, by your will and by your predestined purpose. So I pray today that all we do brings you glory, and all we do today and hereafter is what you require, and that is to do justly to love mercy, and to walk humbly before our God. Let us do this, especially for those who are disenfranchised, abused, and unheard of in our community. Let us remember this day as we celebrate Kristen. And we do this in the matchless mighty name of Jesus. Everyone say amen.
Thank you, thank you. Always invigorated after he speaks. Next, we have a musical selection, Black National Anthem by the Tabernacle of David Band featuring Sasha Bacon. And although Judge Simmons herself is a tremendous singer, we're gonna let her just enjoy the day, enjoy the special day. So, thank you. Thank you for that. And just 2 cents. I received the guitar for my 21st birthday, and I thought it would be as simple as going on YouTube, watching a couple of videos, and I'd be playing like Jimi Hendrix. Absolutely not. So that is especially impressive to me because the amount of time, patience, and practice I know it takes to play like that. Bravo. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And welcome address from the Chief Judge, Alderson.
Good afternoon and welcome to the investiture of Judge Kristen Simmons. I'm more of a trained listener than I am a speaker, so I will be shorter than Mr. Nayam Kukuruza. But it is certainly an honor and a privilege to be here today witnessing this auspicious occasion, as has just been mentioned by the pastor. Last year I mentioned that we have celebrated 50 years of district courts here in Michigan, and for the 54A we have changed subtly over the time. We're still in the same building after 50 years, but we have changed. We used to have 6 judges on our bench, and then it went to 5, and now remains at 4. And for Judge Simmons, she is the 20th elected or appointed judge to take a seat on our bench. And what makes that fact more exciting for all of us here is that for the first time in our history, we do have an all-female bench. Yes. And Judge Simmons and her new benchmates, along with myself, she brings new energy and new ideas. But she adds to our shared value of what is justice. Justice for the people of the city of Lansing and to all parties who come before our courts. So on behalf of the judges of the 54A District Court, our administrative team, and all our staff. We welcome you today's investiture of Judge Kristen Simmons, and we all thank you for being here.
Next, we will hear from Mayor Andy Shaw.
I will also be brief. Congratulations. Thank you for letting me be part of this day. This is such a wonderful day. So I want to welcome everybody here to City Hall. My apologies, it's a little warm in here, but the councilwoman and the councilman and I will work on that. But as many of you know, Judge Simmons previously worked here in the city of Lansing, and our city attorney is sitting in the back. And when he first heard that she was going to be our next district court judge, I've never seen a smile on Jim Smirka's face like that day. And he's sitting back there grinning, red as a tomato. I can see it from here. But he was so proud. You know, I didn't get to be here when you were here, as I'm newer, but he was so proud and so excited. And I mean, he came to the 9th floor to tell me how exciting this is for the city of Lansing. Because he wasn't just proud for him that he knew the next judge and he could work with her. He wasn't just proud for me that I could work with her, for her. He was proud for the city. He was proud for all of the residents here, knowing that they're going to get the best justice, and this was the perfect pick. I will talk a little bit. She was our Lansing Police Department legal advisor. She was advisor for our Police Board of Commissioners. She dealt with FOIA, and that, in essence, makes her a saint. Thank you. She was the advisor for the City Council Committee on Public Safety, advisor for the Department of Human Relations and Community Services, and I think Joan Jackson-Johnson is here somewhere. She handles civil litigation for the city. She really does understand the city of Lansing, capital C and lowercase c. She understands how government works. She understands the people. She understands exactly what we need in a judge to join our wonderful bench. I also want to recognize the fact that she is so involved in our community. So involved in our community. You already heard about the Davis Dunnings Bar Association. I know she's an Alpha Kappa Alpha and a member of the Links Incorporated. And these are all incredible things that I see every day. And we want someone like that, someone who understands the community, who knows the community, and who will be humble and yet fair on the bench. So again, I appreciate the opportunity to even come up and be part of this. I am excited for you on behalf of me, on behalf of many of our staff as I look out into the audience, but really on behalf of the city of Lansing and the residents of the city of Lansing, we wish you congratulations. I don't have to wish you good luck because I know you're going to be an incredible judge, and we look forward to everything you're going to do for many, many years here on our bench. Thank you and congratulations.
So I was standing at a podium when a judge said to the gentleman I was helping, "Show me your friends and I'll show you your future," right? Now, speaking next is someone who certainly believes in service to all mankind, exemplifies excellence through sustainable service, and who, despite all her accomplishments, is much more impressive off paper than she is on. Again, my representative, Sarah Anthony, the Honorable Sarah Anthony.
Good afternoon. You all look so beautiful. Do you see this, Kristen? Oh my goodness. This is the happiest time I've ever been in City Hall. Because normally when I am in City Hall, I'm leaving so mad. I'm trying to get a boot off my car. I'm paying parking tickets. So thank you for making my City Hall experience wonderful. No offense, Mayor. I know I meet with him a lot. I am so happy today. I'm so happy. There's no one more deserving of this appointment and this position than Judge Simmons. Over the years, I have been able to call Kristen a number of things. As the mayor mentioned, Kristen is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And she and I are line sisters. So 13 of us were able to become members of the first African-American sorority together. And in fact, if there are any members of Alpha Kappa Alpha in the room, would you please just stand so that Kristen can see you? Thank you. So 13 of us were lucky enough to share this bond. And the one thing that was emphasized in our process was that this is an organization about service. And some of us had already been on a journey of service, and Kristen was really leading the way. You heard about her community service, and really being in the sorority just amplified that service. Most of the time, she never had to be convinced to do something in terms of volunteering, right? Whether it was volunteering her time and helping us with Zumba and reminding us of the importance of physical health and even mental health, or really just lending a hand in any capacity, right? She has been one of our most active sorority sisters in the greater Lansing region. So I'm proud to call her a sorority sister. But I'm also proud to call her a friend. You know, as we get older, life is hard. And it is hard to rely on someone when the lights are off, right? When your makeup is smeared, when you're celebrating amazing victories or lamenting at defeat. And she is a friend and a confidant, someone you can actually lean on. And when they say that they're going to pray for you and stand in the gap, you realize that they're actually going to do it. I've been proud to call her that. But today, I get comfortable in calling her the honorable. And there is so much honor to this position. And as was mentioned before, the integrity that Kristen is going to bring to this position, the fact that she is fair, the fact she's honest and loyal will serve us well. A couple days ago, I had a few extra minutes when I was walking from the Capitol, and I just happened to sneak into her courtroom, and someone was not having a good day who was right before her. But she's treated the person with such dignity and respect. And, you know, I was just in the back, just kind of a fly on the wall. And I think we took a selfie, and I celebrated with her, and I got on the elevator, and I just cried. And again, it wasn't because of a parking ticket. It was because Kristen was just in her element. When you can see someone that just belongs in the robe and in that position, it just brought me so much joy. And so I'm so proud to be here, to always be your sorority sister and be your friend, and now be a partner in public service for the Mid-Michigan community. Luke 12:48 says that whom much is given, much is required. And I know that Kristen can handle this and whatever else God continues to elevate her in. So before you put that big robe on, and I know that's going to be heavy, sometimes the title of these elected positions can be heavier than the robes and pins and garbs that we have to put on. But Kristen, I encourage you to think about this day. And as Pastor Trice mentioned, the cloud of witnesses that are not just looking from above, but are looking out here. Because when the headlines come and the haters come and all those different things that try to tie and break us down, these are the people who are here before your fancy title and will be here long after. So I love you, and thank you for serving our community. Before I start crying and, you know, getting long-winded like Takura, I'm just going to say, God bless you. Thank you.
We doing on. I'll take that. I'll take that. So, as you've heard many times before, Judge Simmons is a serial do-gooder. It's amazing. When she was the president, right, of the DDBA, I keep going back to this, but she, as the president, right, she could have pinned the roles on people to do so many things. But despite all the things that she was doing, she always asked what more she could do. Even serving on committees, we were co-chairs for the mentorship committee, but she always was willing to help and made time to help others on their committees. So I know an organization that is near and dear to her heart is the Links Incorporated. Fellow Link member, Teresa Bingham, is coming to the mic next.
May it please this honorable court. One by one, I have seen obstacles removed, errors corrected, prejudices softened, proscriptions relinquished, and my people advancing in all elements that go to make up the sum of the general welfare. And I remember that God reigns in eternity, and that whatever delays, whatever disappointments and discouragements may come, truth, justice, liberty, and humanity will ultimately prevail. Frederick Douglass. Good afternoon. To everyone gathered here to witness this joyous occasion, as Judge Kristen Simmons prepares to recite her oath of office to commemorate the beginning of her journey as a 54A District Court Judge, I am honored to deliver brief remarks. I want to first express my profound thanks to Governor Whitmer for appointing Judge Simmons to this role. This appointment demonstrates the governor's confidence in Judge Simmons's abilities, which many of us have been privileged to witness over the years as she has served this city, state, and nation in various professional and organizational roles. It has been wonderful to see the judge in our community and with the state and nation as a member of several of our illustrious community service organizations, such as Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and the Links Incorporated, and to also support the judge as she has worked in committed roles within her church and in the music ministry, and also as a role model and a teacher to many youth in this community. With delight, members of the Lansing East Lansing Links Incorporated have worked alongside Judge Simmons as she has served in various leadership roles within our chapter. At this time, will the members of the Lansing East Lansing Links and other links who are assembled here today, along with their connecting links, please stand to be recognized. Thank you, Link Sisters. Imagine our joy and our pride when we learned that Judge Simmons was selected among a large group of candidates to serve as a fellow of our coveted Scott Hawkins Leadership Institute, which is a national academy sponsored by the Links Incorporated for a few carefully selected members who are 40 years old or under and who we know are emerging leaders. Through this leadership development program, she has engaged with African American women leaders from throughout this great nation who have broken the glass ceiling by serving as president and CEO of many companies and organizations such as Xerox Corporation and the National Medical Association, just to name a few. It is from these community-based and national experiences and many others that Judge Simmons has demonstrated her suitability for becoming a judge. She's curious, humble, hardworking, respectful, bright, and she cares about people and their plight. In closing, you may wonder why I repeated the profound words of Frederick Douglass on this glorious day as we gather to witness the investiture of Judge Kristen Simmons. Here's why. Frederick Douglass, who was born around 1818, made his mark on this nation, having escaped slavery and soon thereafter, with no formal education, becoming a prominent activist, author, public speaker, and leader in the abolitionist movement. He was also an advocate for women's rights, and specifically the right of women to vote. I thought it appropriate, given the intense social and political discourse that exists in our country today, to elevate the words of this wise man who knew almost 200 years ago that regardless of what we go through in this nation, and I quote again, whatever disappointments and discouragements may come, truth, justice, liberty, and humanity will ultimately prevail. So in spite of all that's going on in America, I find it very refreshing to be here today at this appointed time to congratulate and to support an individual who is loved, supported, and respected by a diverse array of community members and professionals from various backgrounds, experiences, and beliefs. Judge Kristen Simmons understands the path that has been paved for her to have the opportunity to serve in a role such as this. And it is my pleasure to know and support this community servant who knows that God reigns in eternity, and it is an honor to support a public servant who openly and consistently displays her belief in God and is prepared to continue to embrace what Frederick Douglass knew to be true many, many years ago, that in her court, ultimately, truth, justice, liberty, and humanity will prevail. So thank you, Judge Simmons, for this honor. Thank you for remaining on the side of truth, justice, and liberty. And thank you for your belief in humanity. And most of all, thank you for having the desire to serve on this honorable court. Thank you.
Am I the only speaker who hasn't received an embrace so far? Did anyone notice that? Anyone else notice that? What's going on? To the point that she made about congratulating and supporting, I can tell you now that even though the people of Lansing won't need much convincing after they've seen you do what you do, I'm telling you that not only myself, I'll take the Hill Tour Express, knock on doors for you, do whatever I need to, but also our firm, Chartier and Nyamfukudza, will do what we need to get you elected, right? You've been appointed, but we'll get you elected too. And I will not wish her luck, because luck, or what people call that, is what happens when opportunity meets preparation, which she knows she always will be. Next, coming up, we have a family friend, Mr. Sanders. Oh, there you are.
Justice is a woman, a tall and regal woman always robed in white. Her eyes are covered over, she is without sight. She can't see your face, she can't tell your race. She is almost blind. What is on her mind? Her ears are always open, she can always hear. Your heartbeat when you're lying, your sorrow when you're sighing. Your tears drop when you're crying, your silence when you're dying. A tall and regal woman, armed with balanced scales. How heavy are the wealthy and their money bags? How heavy are the homeless in their filthy rags? How heavy are the lawyers and their legal briefs? How heavy are the victims in their silent grief? A tall and regal woman, sword of sharpened steel. Her judgment will be final. There will be no appeal. While we all understand that the search for justice is imperfect, the ideals and aspirational tone expressed by Bob Bocher in this poem should continue to be the goal. Good afternoon. My name is Tyrone Sanders, and I'm honored to have been asked to make a few brief comments to honor the solemn occasion of the investiture of the new 54A District Court Judge, my friend Kristen Simmons. In the word of Jane Boland, the first African-American female judge in the U.S., I am always impatient with those who say, "You women have come a long way." Since I am no gradualist, I think to myself that 150 years is too long to come a long way in, and that those gains we have made were never graciously or generously granted. We have had to fight every inch of the way in the face of insufferable humiliations. Judge Simmons, as you take your place among an impressive fraternity of highly qualified and respected African-American female jurists in our state, remember the sacrifices that have been made by Jane Boland and other Michigan trailblazers, like Geraldine Bletzer Ford, the first African-American female judge in Michigan. The Honorable Shauna Dunnings, the first female and first African-American to serve as a probate judge in Ingham County. Christina Elmore, the first African-American female to serve as a judge of the 17th Circuit Court in Michigan. The Honorable Anna Diggs Taylor, the first African-American female appointed as a judge of the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Michigan. These women and others have helped pave the way for your historic appointment. Look at the significant progress that has been made in Michigan with your addition to the bench. Now 4 of the 4 judges that serve at the 54A District Court are women. In 2008, we elected our first female governor, a female attorney general, secretary of state, and chief judge of the Michigan Supreme Court. While this sampling of the notable accomplishments being achieved by women in our state's political and legal arenas is to be celebrated, there is work yet to be done. There is work that requires your immediate attention. From the battles waged during the women's suffrage movement through today's Me Too movement, women have always been at the forefront of speaking truth to power and creating systematic change in our society. Judge, as you know, practical struggles continue to plague our community's residents touched by the criminal justice system. That struggle continues today. Judge Simmons, there are well-documented disparities in our justice system that keep us from achieving the aspirations espoused in the Justice is Woman poem. Today, I have great confidence that through your leadership from the bench, we can make significant gains in our community and reverse alarming trends. I have great confidence that your integrity, compassion, and moral grounding will allow you to see beyond the obvious in deliberating on the cases before you. I have great confidence that because of your passion for the law, work ethic, and fervent desire to serve this community, we will have a judge that will be fair and equitable in her renderings. Judge Simmons, the prayer that I pray for you today is that God will grant you the wisdom to hand down justice equitably and in the best interests of the safety of this community. I pray that God will grant you patience so that you will be deliberative and fair in your decision making. I pray that God will grant you tolerance so that you can better relate to the human condition of plaintiffs and defendants in your courtroom. I pray that God grants you peace to accept the human consequences of the decisions you'll be asked to make. Finally, I pray that your robe will serve as the battle armor of Christ to help you endure the slings and arrows that will inevitably come your way. Judge Simmons, Spencer, on behalf of myself, my wife Tanisha, the brothers of Kappa Alpha Psi, of which you are a proud member, and the women of the Lansing Silhouette Organization, I would like to congratulate you on this honor. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of it, and I pray that God continues to bless you for the journey ahead. Thank you.
We'll fix that before this is over. Next, we have a special message from the Honorable Amy Ronaine Krause. I know Judge Krause because her husband, Kurt, is off counsel at our firm Chartier in Nyamfukuza. And because she can no longer hear cases that have our name on it, she has become more of a friend. And I know that because of that, she's comfortable sharing, not all, but certainly what I can say is Judge Simmons means a great deal to Judge Krause. And this is especially meaningful for Judge Krause because the seat that Judge Simmons is taking was Judge Krause's before she ascended to the Court of Appeals. Judge Krause would have been here, but she underwent surgery to repair her knee. We have a video, and she asked me, anyone who knows Judge Krause will tell you she is one of the fanciest judges, right? The jazzy shoes, the jewelry, and everything else. So because she just undergone surgery, just never mind what she's wearing, I say, pay attention to the words. Pay attention to the words. And someone is going to play a video momentarily.
Good afternoon, everyone. I know I am not dressed very formally for a formal occasion, but I found out on Monday that I needed to have knee surgery, and it was either yesterday or it had to be 3 weeks from now, and my knee's in pain, so I'm having it done on Tuesday, which means I can't be there today. So I'm sending this message through Anithia because I wanted to make sure Judge Simmons knows how much I appreciate her and how very, very honored I am that she is the one to be in my former seat. I couldn't be more honored. I am so sorry to miss this event. I want to say hello to her entire family that I've heard so much about and let you all know that you have an amazing, amazing daughter, sister, sister-in-law, whatever the case may be, aunt, and just let you know that she is fantastic. She's an amazing judge. She's a fantastic person, and I want you to know I'm so sorry to not be there today. So thank you, Anithia, for figuring this out. And Judge Simmons, you go do justice, which is what I know you'll do. All right, my best to everyone. Thank you.
And to Judge Krause's point, I think it's okay for me to call her Kristen this one more time. She is someone that you can truly count on to help multiply joys and divide sorrows. She is a loyal friend and already has begun to show how fantastic a judge she is. Next, the administration of the oath. Oh, there she is. The Honorable Shauna Dunnings. Oh. I was looking for you. I will follow Judge Dunning's lead. Presentation of the robe by Maggie Gary and Spencer Simmons, mother and husband of the Honorable Kristen D. Simmons. So she's got her gear, but she needs one of her tools. And presentation of the gavel by Mary Bowen, the current president of the Davis-Dunnings Bar Association. Mary? I've been asked to tell you to move with a sense of purpose.
Well, all right then. I'll make it quick. Good afternoon and greetings to members of the Judiciary, Mayor Shore, State Representative Sarah Anthony, Mayor Shore's cabinet members, members of the State Bar of Michigan, the Ingham County Bar Association, the Women Lawyers Association, the Davis-Dunnings Bar clergy member, friends and family and supporters of the Lansing community. Thank you for taking the time to celebrate this wonderful occasion. It is an honor to stand before you today to give a few special remarks about Judge Kristen Simmons. Today's auspicious occasion marks the beginning of a new legacy and a moment in history. As we've just witnessed and will continue to witness, we're witnessing her investiture to the 54A District Court. For those of you that don't know, the Davis-Dunnings Bar Association, formerly known as the Lansing Black Lawyers Association, was founded in 1981. One of the main goals of our organization is to foster growth and development of our members while making significant contributions to the legal community. We are elated to see one of our own appointed to the bench by Governor Gretchen Whitmer. I've watched Judge Simmons excel in her legal career over the past 7 years. Her humble beginnings have led to her promotion as a distinguished jurist. Judge Simmons, the legal community speaks highly of you. From the City of Lansing Office of the City Attorney to the Michigan Department of Attorney General, your former supervisors and your colleagues tout your legal acumen and prowess. As you know, she brings a wealth of trial skills and advocacy to the bench. I first met Judge Simmons during her last year at Western Michigan University, Thomas M. Cooley Law School. At the time, I served my first tenure as the president of the Davis-Dunnings Bar Association, and she performed at our annual Otis M. Smith Scholarship and Awards Banquet. She not only has a beautiful voice, but she has such a beautiful spirit. Judge Simmons continued to remain active in our organization thereafter. She'd soon graduate from law school, pass the bar exam, and shortly after her licensure, she assumed many leadership roles on the executive board, everything from the secretary, vice president, and as you know, president of the organization. In addition to knowing Judge Simmons in her professional capacity, I know her in her personal capacity. She actively serves at our church, Tabernacle of David, on the praise team. She also informally mentors young girls and ladies at our church. They look up to her, and truthfully, I look up to you too. I'm so proud of you. She is active in her sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha, and of course active in the Links Incorporated. She is a devoted and supportive wife to her husband, Spencer Simmons. With all the honors and distinctions, one of the things that I love the most about Judge Kristen Simmons is her genuineness and most of all, her faithfulness. She keeps her word. She's not afraid to step out in uncharted territory. She has strong faith, and she's a woman of integrity and definitely worthy of double the honor. Thank you for saying yes to the call. If I can leave you with just a couple of words of encouragement, Judge Simmons, you are called for a time such as this. This is an appointed time set aside for you. May the wisdom of Solomon rest upon you. The steps of a good woman are ordered by the Lord. Do not forget to rule justly, to have plenteous mercy, and to walk humbly, to continue to walk humbly before the Lord. On behalf of the Davis-Dunnings Bar Association, we would like to congratulate you, Judge Simmons, on your investiture. At this time, the Davis-Dunnings Bar Association would like to present you with a gavel. The gavel is specially engraved with your name and new title.
And now we are on the court's time. Investiture address is next. Judge Simmons, please.
You may be seated. What an overwhelming experience this has been. A wonderful journey I have taken to get to this appointment. I first want to give all the glory and the honor to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. He has fully endowed and equipped me with everything that I needed to reach my success, to reach my dream. He's blessed me. I've been so enriched throughout my journey. And the journey wasn't always easy, but God was instrumental in placing people along my path to help me to reach where He designed and destined for me to be. And for that I'm forever grateful, and I forever honor Him. It is an honor to serve. It is an honor to serve the public. I don't count it, I don't take it lightly at all. I hold it with high regard. Public service is at the very core of who I am. I was listening to my mother speak the other day about how I've been ever since I was a young child, and how she always had to drive me around because I was always serving somewhere. But I'm passionate about service, and I am thankful for the organizations and the individuals that have entrusted and saw it fit for me to serve alongside them to help others, because that's what I was placed on this earth to do. I want to thank those who have mentored me, those who have sewed into me. I see my former boss, Lisa Jiminek, back there. I want to thank you, Lisa Jiminek. She was a colleague of mine at the Attorney General's office, and when I was in the Office of the Attorney General in the civil litigation section, women in litigation is few. And she welcomed me with open arms on my very first day. She brought me a flower. She would stop by my office and bring me encouraging words. And then one day she heard I had this big trial coming up that had been dumped on me. It was a case that had been before the Court of Appeals and back. It had been open longer than I had been an attorney. And she came just to check on my progress and see how I was feeling, and I explained to her what was on the table. And she said, "Who's your second chair?" And I said, "I don't have one." And she took it upon herself to clear her schedule, and she accompanied me. We were in trial 9 days in Detroit. It was a long and arduous journey, but I learned so much from her. She pours into me, and I hope that I can pour into you. And I love you and I appreciate you. I see my other former boss in the back there. I see Jim Smirker. I want to thank you. I see affectionately known to me, F. Dot, but that's F. Dot Joseph Abood. And I call him F. Dot. And he has been a mentor as well. He took me under his wing and worked very closely with me when I was at the city attorney's office. And I'm thankful for all that he's done to help me see my path onto the bench. And I appreciate you and thank you. I want to thank all my family who has traveled near and far. I have siblings from all over the country here. You know, it's when I say it wasn't an easy journey, it was not an easy journey. I was raised by a single mother. She made many sacrifices to help me realize my potential and realize my dream. And when my father passed at a young age, my brother stepped up and filled in the gap, and I never had to feel as though I was fatherless. And for that, I thank you. I appreciate you and I love you. I want to thank my mother, the queen of my heart. She's my prayer warrior. She makes sure she goes forth in the kingdom to keep her children covered. She has made insurmountable sacrifices so that we can be great and so that we can have a great life. She loves us unconditionally. There is nothing I could ever do to repay her for all the things that she has done and all the ways that she has poured into me. And for that, Mother, I love you and I honor you. I want to thank my spiritual leader, my spiritual father, Pastor Trice, and his lovely wife, Lady Lene. Whenever I'm going through something, just as my mother taught, I go to my spiritual leaders, and they keep me covered. And that's what a true spiritual leader is for. Help me stay aligned, help me stay grounded. I thank you, Pastor. I appreciate you and your wife for your prayers, for your encouragement. I'm not from Michigan, I'm not from Lansing, and I found a home at the Tabernacle of David. And my mother always says when she comes to visit how everyone is so pleasant and everyone is so loving to her. And that's the reason why I'm a member, Mother. It's because, it's because I feel loved, and that's where God is designed for me to be. And I thank you, Pastor, and I thank you to the Tabernacle of David family for loving me. To the man who is the reason why I live in Michigan. My loving husband, the one my mother prayed for. I love you and I appreciate you. I thank you. I'm going to take this down because this is awkward. I thank you for the patience that you've had with me during this journey, and I understand that getting through this process was not easy for someone to stand by your side, that there was a lot of times where I wasn't home. I traveled to the Upper Peninsula for trial a lot. I was gone, had late nights at work, but my husband was very patient. He was very supportive. He was very caring. Whatever he could do to help support me to make sure I succeed, he was there to do that, and that's a rare jewel, and that jewel is mine. My husband, Spencer Simmons. Thank you. And I would be remiss if I didn't make it clear that I do indeed have the best mother-in-law in the world. I love you, Mom. She has, from the time that I have been in her life, or she has been in my life, she has been more than supportive. I haven't received a single award or an accolade, had a graduation that she was not there for, that she did not cheer me on. And I thank you for being there, for loving me as your own, and for encouraging me along the way. I appreciate you. And then I have one more mother in the room, Mom Brooks. My Baltimore mom. I am an alumnus of the Hampton University in Hampton, Virginia. And one year, myself and two of my closest friends were in our dorm room, and 3 beautiful black queens came to see if they can see the dorm room we were in because 2 of the ladies had previously stayed in that room. And to make a long story short, by the time they left, we were their new daughters. And she too has been supportive. Mom, you have been there every time I needed you. You have supported me. You have poured into me. I thank you. I thank Dad Brooks for your love and for welcoming me into your family. To those of you who are here, I appreciate your support. You could be anywhere right now, but you're here celebrating me, and I appreciate you and I love you. As I said before, I take service very serious. It's an honor for me to serve. I intend to serve with the utmost integrity. I hold those that are close to me accountable. If you see me out of order, and I know you will, you'll get me in line real quick. I want to thank those of you who have taken your time to give special words on my behalf. I was very careful about who I selected. But as you can see, I didn't want to have to get up here and tell my own story. I like to let my life do the singing. You like that? Those who went to Hampton know what that means. And so I appreciate you, Sarah Anthony, my state rep. I love you. I appreciate you. I honor you. Your friendship is like no other. And I love you, and I continue to hope that our bond will continue to grow in service. I thank you, Teresa Bingman, my Link sister, for pouring into me, for mentoring me, for talking to me, encouraging me, and supporting me. It's a beautiful thing that when you can have someone you can relate to pour into you, and that's what we share. And I appreciate our times that we're walking and we're just talking and we're debriefing. Those things are therapeutic to me, and I appreciate having someone that I can talk to the judge, Shauna Dunnings. Also my Link sister. I love you and I appreciate you. Another mentor, another friend, someone who has been supportive and is always there whenever I need a call. I thank you for taking your time and for supporting me and for swearing me in today. I want to thank those that I shared the bench with, those who have helped me, Judge DeLuca. I thank you. You took your time out of retirement to come and sit with me to make sure I had any questions answered that needed to be answered. I want to thank you, Judge Felice, because you may not remember, but I remember the first day I was assistant city attorney. I walked into a jury trial that I was to have in your courtroom, and you were very patient with me. And I appreciate it. The practice of law is just that, it's the practice of law. And so I appreciate those of you that I came before throughout my practice and that you were patient with me as I learned and honed my craft. And I thank you for welcoming me to the ranks of the bench. I thank each and every one of you once again, and I would ask that you would continue to pray for me, to keep me in your prayers, keep me before the throne, and keep me accountable. Thank you.
Yesterday, the Women Lawyers Association of Michigan had a dinner to honor Carolyn A. Stell, the first woman who was elected. Hello? Okay, there we go. There we go. Elected to be on a seat in the Ingham County Circuit. The reception was yesterday, so I don't think it's coincidence that this is happening here today. As Judge Alderson mentioned, all the judges in 54A now are women. And in Ingham County, on the district court level, we have more women than men as judges. Often people talk about history like it's something that happened in the past. It's happening now. We are living it. Thank you for allowing me to play a role in making you part of history. And thank you all for coming. My time is done. We went over a little bit, but I was ready at 1600, right? Let the record reflect. There'll be a reception immediately following in the lobby, and I ask that all the judges, the AKAs and links, stay behind for photographs with Judge Simmons. Thank you.